On a cold November morning, a man with white hair and a thick gray mustache patiently stands before a Rhode Island judge. The judge greets the man, reads his name and his charge carefully, and asks, "How do you plead?" "I want to plead guilty with an explanation, Your Honor," the man answers in his thick New England accent. Now, normally, in a story like this, you would expect me to go over the man's backstory, the sequence of events that got him to the courtroom, and finally the verdict and what happened after. While we'll talk about some of that before the end, you need to know that this is a story not about the man arguing his case. This story is about the judge. Hi, I'm Garvin DeShazer, and this is your Daily Inspiration. As Judge Frank Caprio, age 82, listens patiently, the man before him reads from a prepared statement. He's in court this day for a parking ticket of about $100. The man, a Vietnam veteran, explains that parking is extremely difficult near Providence's Veterans Affairs Hospital, and that he and other vets had been leaving their cars on a nearby street with no issues, having incorrectly assumed that police were giving the veterans a break. After pausing for a moment to reflect on what he's heard from the man, Judge Caprio explains to the court the balancing act judges must deal with between enforcing the law while also showing compassion. With that, Judge Caprio thanks the man for his service and dismisses the case. This is just one example from the case files of Judge Frank Caprio, and over his decades of service, his empathetic rulings for veterans and civilians alike have not gone unnoticed by the public at large. Short videos from the courtroom have, with the consent of those present, been going viral across the internet, garnering well over 1.7 billion views so far. As a result of this positivity, a nationally syndicated television show is now broadcast in 186 cities across the U.S. In these broadcasts, Judge Caprio often approaches situations lightheartedly, such as calling upon children of defendants to pass judgments on their parents, or making his younger high school students promise to attend college in return for dropping tickets. One example of the former was when the judge asked a young girl if she had eaten breakfast that morning, and when she told him she hadn't, he sentenced the mother to breakfast in return for waiving the tickets, and advising the girl to, quote, order something really good because you just saved her a bunch of money. Occasionally, the laughter comes from when the kind-hearted judge loses patience with those who argue with him, or as he puts it, tries to give him a snow job. In a time where hostility between citizens and the police, or indeed the government itself, sometimes seems to be at an all-time high, how and why have this judge's rulings become an incredibly popular form of entertainment? Judge Caprio himself believes that people have lost faith in government and that they have become accustomed to faceless, impersonal institutions that hand down harsh punishments with no regard for how those affect the individual. I think I should take into consideration whether someone is sick, or whether their mother died, or whether they have kids who are starving, the judge explains. I don't wear a badge under my robe. I wear a heart. Judge Caprio is proud of his unexpected international fame, saying, quote, I may be adding just a little bit more understanding toward the United States system of government and how it works, that we are a decent, peace-loving people, and not how we're being portrayed in other parts of the world. The judge often cites his father, Antonio Caprio, an Italian immigrant who worked as a fruit peddler and milkman, as the inspiration for his compassionate approach to his judicial work. Antonio was well known for helping clients who fell behind on their milk bills despite his own family's limited resources. Of his father, Judge Caprio recalls, his mantra was to, quote, help people when you can. We were taught in life that it's not enough to climb the ladder of success. You have to leave the ladder down so others can follow in your footsteps. Caprio has a special soft spot in his heart for veterans, having served in the Army Reserve himself as a combat engineer, and this especially applies to those who served in Vietnam. He explains, "I remember how the vets were adored in World War II and how they were scorned when they came home from Nam. It's a sad chapter in our history." Judge Frank Caprio has also worked as a teacher and has given several commencement speeches, runs his own law firm, and is active in his community in many ways. But he says he is only trying to do his part, not change the world. In the final analysis, he says, "I'm only doing what my father taught me to do. I'm following his advice, and it resonated in the world." What part can you play today in making a difference in your community? Many of us have benefited at least once from the mercy or compassion shown to us by others whom we may not have even known. Do you have the opportunity to show compassion to someone else who desperately needs it? Thanks for listening. May your day be filled with giving and receiving compassion today, and with love, laughter, and infinite joy. Bye for now.
Hi, this is Scott Sampson, producer for the Daily Inspirations podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Want more inspiration in your life? Check out our blog for weekend stories of hope and uplifting news. If you've been enjoying the podcast, we hope you'll take a moment today and rate and review us and tell everyone in your circle so they can get the same inspiration that we hope you've received today. We have big plans for this podcast and we want you to be part of it. Visit dailyinspirationsandmeditations.com to contact us with your own inspirational stories or just to say hi.